Today on Studio One, cultures and food mixed together at a special event in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We'll take you to the annual Feast of Nations. Also, what does the movie Star Wars and quilting have in common? Lasers, and we'll tell you how they're used for sewing. And the search for renewable energy is causing many to take another look at the power of wind.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Kelly Anderson. Thanks for joining us today. Well, Monty, the Olympics are all wrapped up. Everything's come to a close.
Closing ceremonies went okay. Everything's done.
Pretty nice. And here's an interesting fact about the Olympic torch that I bet you didn't know. It's not actually a tradition of the Olympics, like ancient Greece tradition. It actually originated at the 1936 Olympics when Adolf Hitler tried to turn them into a celebration of the Third Reich.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not a real patriotic unification thing, but...
Well, it sure has turned into a source for everybody to rally around the Olympics.
And actually later in the show we get to talk with someone who was a carrier of the Olympic torch. So
interesting. Well, we have also some more things coming up on the show. Researchers are constantly looking to develop cheaper, cleaner sources of energy. We'll tell you about new plans to take advantage of one source that will never run dry.
Also, there are many volunteer organizations in the world. Today we'll tell you about one that doesn't let government borders stop them.
Before that, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. The search for a missing child appears to have come to a tragic end. Authorities believe a body found Wednesday in a remote area near San Diego is 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam. The body had a necklace very similar to the one Danielle was wearing the night she disappeared. A positive identification has not been made and may take several days. The child's body was found just one day after a family neighbor, David Westerfield, pleaded not guilty to charges in connection with the girl's disappearance. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, fighting continues in the West Bank. 10 Palestinians and an Israeli were killed when Israel launched an assault against 2 refugee camps. This is the largest strike since fighting escalated between the two sides 17 months ago. Israel launched the attacks in an attempt to flush out terrorists it believes trained in the refugee camps. The Israeli assaults came after a suicide attack by a Palestinian woman who strapped explosives to her body and blew herself up at a West Bank checkpoint. 1/3 of all Americans are not going to see the person who can keep their teeth healthy, their dentist. Many dentists say this could lead to complications later on in life. John Clayberg, who has been working on people's mouths for 19 years, says that one reason why people are not getting proper dental care may be because they don't know about how a dentist works. Other reasons may be lack of medical coverage or just plain fear of what may happen while sitting in the dentist chair. Clayberg says they may have this fear from a bad experience in the past or afraid that the outcome will include pain.
In receiving the knowledge about how to care for teeth in a preventive way, people can avoid the very pain that they're trying to avoid by not going to the dentist.
Clayberg says the cost of caring for teeth will go up if going to the dentist is not on Americans' priority list. He says having a regular checkup will catch tooth decay and gum disease at an early stage and make it easier for people to take care of their teeth. A new chemically altered crop could help make cigarettes less addicting. A study by the Agriculture Department shows genetically engineered tobacco contains less nicotine than the ordinary plants. The tobacco was altered to stop the development of nicotine in the plant's roots. Cigarettes with the new tobacco could be on store shelves this spring, and they will light, smoke, and taste the same as ordinary ones, but will still deliver high levels of toxic substances. Some believe the new cigarettes may encourage more smoking. As the demand for electricity increases in many parts of the country, the search for different energy sources has become more important. Researchers are now taking another look at one alternative source that will be here for generations to come.
For decades, people have been harnessing the wind's energy in order to perform simple tasks, like pumping water. In recent years, however, the interest in wind energy has grown, and many have come to realize its true potential. A wind conference was held recently in Grand Forks, North Dakota, in order to spread the word about wind energy.
The core issue that everybody's here to learn more about is how to get more development, more wind energy development in the state.
Wind turbine production companies are hoping to let landowners know the benefits of having turbines on their land.
Landowners that are fortunate enough to have turbines put on their property when development happens are typically blessed with a royalty payment of, say, 2 to 4% of the gross turbine production, which typically amounts to about $2,000 to $4,000 per turbine per year.
North Dakota is ranked as the #1 state in potential wind energy. Wind energy officials are looking at sites in order to tap some of the state's wind resources. If everything goes as planned, the construction of 2 to 3 new wind farms should soon be underway.
We're hoping to go into contract within the next couple months, and we'll start pouring bases again probably in August, September, and if all goes well, we should have the turbines up and running by November of 2002.
So, with growing energy prices and better turbine technology, wind is becoming a viable choice for alternative renewable energy. With photographer Casey Frederick, this is Jamie Morlock reporting for Studio One News.
A single wind turbine costs around $1.3 million. The maximum amount of energy produced by a turbine can reach 5 million kilowatt hours per year, which is enough to power up to 500 homes. And that's news for now. Monty and Kelly?
Thank you, Leanna. Well, if there's any place that should be able to harness the wind, it's right around here.
We've got it.
Yeah, there is a lot of wind out there.
Yeah, well, let's go to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipond and see if we have any wind in that forecast.
Well, Monty and Kelly, those wind turbines getting certainly a workout today across the region with those northerly winds gusting up anywhere 15 to 25 miles per hour. Will it last? We'll find out here shortly. First of all, our almanac here in Grand Forks, North Dakota, we bottomed out this morning at 4 below. Our high this afternoon was only 6, so that's, as you can see, below normal for a change here across the area. And our sunset tonight is at 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Currently in Grand Forks with a partly cloudy sky, our temperature is at the high for the day, 6 degrees. Relative humidity 47%. Northerly winds now at 17, giving us a wind chill of 13 below, and our pressure 30.21. We'll have to watch these temperatures as they'll drop like a rock overnight tonight with a clear sky. Across the region, as far as temperatures go, coolest to the north and warmest to the south, 9 over in Fargo, 15 over in Billings, Duluth at 15 as well, 35 over in Iowa, and 21 in the Twin Cities. Current surface analysis does show a low pressure center across the Great Lakes, giving that area some snow showers, as well as some snow showers across the sections of the Intermountain West as we fly in from the west coast into the upper Midwest. Just a mostly sunny sky across the region with some snow showers again off to our south and west. Friday's forecast across the nation does show that low scooting off to the south and east, and that will be the main weather maker across the region, the eastern seaboard over the weekend. With this cold high in place across the south, 4 dozen lows were recorded across the record lows were recorded across the south and east. Friday's detailed forecast here in Grand Forks. Bottoming out at 12 below for overnight low with a partly cloudy sky, certainly blustery with those northwesterly winds kicking up at 15 to 25 miles per hour, and our high temperature reaching 7 degrees. So Monty and Kelly will have a closer look at the extended forecast, plus you'll want to stay tuned. We'll have a story about how the National Weather Service issues severe weather warnings to the public.
Well, that sounds interesting. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
As long as there's no severe weather in the near future.
Yeah, I don't think we need any of that.
Well, let's go now to the sports news with James DeGelder.
Thanks, Kelly and Monty. Wednesday night showcased two powerhouses in the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers visited the Minnesota Timberwolves in what could be a preview of the Western Conference Finals. To the Target Center, first quarter, Wolves up 3, and Garnett gets his groove on by throwing it home. Wolves lead 25-20. Now the second, Shaq trying to get Lakers back in the game by muscling in for a dunk. Lakers trail 48-36. Still in the second, Chauncey Billups on the break, and he just throws up the prayer and somehow gets it to go. Wolves would win 112-101. NHL hockey, Philadelphia at New Jersey. Second period, no score until Gagne goes in and zips it by the Beezer for the goal. 1-0 Flyers. Later in the game, Philadelphia's Scott Stevens missed the hit and sends Rick Tocchet into a 360 flip. He'd be okay, and the Flyers win 1-0. College hoops, number 4 Cincinnati visiting Louisville. Late in the game, Louisville gets a dunk to get a 3-point lead. Time running out, Cincinnati down 3, and Logan tries to get the long 3 to go, misses it. They get one last chance by Barker, who just draws air. Number 4 Cincinnati gets upset by unranked Louisville 74-71. Recent cases of violence at youth sporting events are raising concerns about parental behavior. Some wonder whether parents are becoming too competitive concerning their children's activities. The trial of Thomas Junta brought this longtime issue into the public spotlight. Junta was sentenced to a maximum of 20 years in prison after beating a fellow hockey dad to death at their son's practice. Those involved in youth sports have experienced the overreaction of many parents. One referee knows firsthand how out of control parents can get.
There's so much parent involvement now with the kids, and I think they always want to be a part of what's going on rather than leaving it up to the coaches staff, no matter if the coaches are coaching mites all the way up to the high school level.
LeDucer says when parents act up during games, they can cause tension and embarrassment among the players. USA Hockey has set up a zero-tolerance policy regarding parental behavior. The rule says parents or spectators can be removed from the building if they become too out of control. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. And this week's question is, which heavyweight boxer held the title for the longest period of time? Is it Ali, Foreman, Lewis, or Dempsey? And we'll have the answer to that and more sports later on. Kelly and Monty?
Thanks a lot, James. Coming up, we'll take a look at an annual celebration that combines music, food, and a lot of cultural flavor.
Also, tuberculosis is not often found in the United States anymore. However, there are still countries where the disease affects people. Today, we'll talk to someone who worked to educate people in remote areas halfway around the world. Stay with us.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Nature purifies the air and water, stabilizes the soil, moderates the weather, pollinates our crops, cycles life-supporting chemicals, and reserves genetic secrets for future medicines. But a growing human population, rapid economic growth, and rising living standards are depleting Earth's resources faster than they can be renewed. Today, it takes about 11 acres of land to produce the material and energy consumed by the average American. That's more than 8 entire football fields per person. If everyone on Earth maintained this standard of living, it would require at least 3 Earths to support society's needs. Not everyone is claiming an equal share of nature's bounty. In today's global society, the gap will have to narrow. If we live beyond nature's limits, we are borrowing resources from future generations. Fortunately, we know how to recycle, use renewable forms of energy such as wind and solar power, and consume more efficiently so we can leave our children and their children a world better than the one we inherited. For Our Changing Planet, I'm Jane Joyce. To learn more about Our Changing Planet, visit us on the web at www.umac.org/OCP.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. The University of North Dakota offers 136 programs with outstanding faculty who will prepare you for your future. UND, an affordable, high-quality education that's nationally ranked. Your future starts here. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
In 1971, a small group of French doctors believed that all people should have the right to medical care. They also felt the needs of people supersede respect for national borders. The organization Doctors Without Borders was created. Volunteer Jill Shafer joins us to talk about her experience with the program. Thank you for coming on the show today, Jill.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Well, what exactly is Doctors Without Borders?
Well, Doctors Without Borders is a group of volunteers, basically medical volunteers, doctors, nurses, and some administrators who basically find issues, problems around the world that they see warrants direct medical care and also training to local staff to also carry out medical care.
Okay, and you yourself, you're not a medical doctor, you're an educator. Now, how did you become involved in this project?
Well, that's a good question. Basically, I had met a physician who worked there and was very curious to find out what they were doing. And most of the work that they're doing in Uzbekistan is strictly related to tuberculosis prevention, which we can talk about later. But they were adding an education piece to it. And so, because most of the health professionals in Uzbekistan have been Soviet trained, they wanted to work with the Soviet trained physicians and nurses about patient education, which is a new component to healthcare in a post-Soviet type setting.
Okay. Now, going overseas into a brand new culture, all that sort of thing, what does it take to volunteer with something like this?
Well, most of the volunteers for Doctors Without Borders actually apply and are hired and go through all of the transition with the organization. There were a few people, they call them expatriate workers, which were workers like myself, who basically were already living in the country and had skills that fit into the needs of Doctors Without Borders. So that was basically going in and finding a niche.
Okay. Now, you said you're in Uzbekistan. What was the mission that you were working on with Doctors Without Borders?
Well, that mission was, again, a unique mission for Doctors Without Borders, and it was not an acute emergency situation, which is what most of the Doctors Without Border missions are. And you hear about going into countries working in war situations, starvation situations. But a team of people had gone into Uzbekistan and seen these catastrophic rates of tuberculosis that have escalated dramatically since 1990. And basically, Uzbekistan is one of the worst TB situations in Europe and the post-Soviet countries. So they went in and they said, tuberculosis is one issue that we can deal with, and we can use the World Health Organization protocol, take that in, train those physicians, and start implementing the program, basically going in for a 5-year mission, which is very unusual because typically they're not in a country for more than a year.
So you said this is a unique case. It's different than a lot of the other things they work on. How did this affect the planning and how people plan to work with this?
Well, that's, again, that is very new, and the idea of working with the government so heavily becomes much more of an issue because they're going to be in there for so long. And I think that was a new experience for the administrators who were there. And they were experimenting with hiring people to come in for 2 years versus hiring different people to come in for 1-year positions. And so they themselves are figuring out what works the best, when you need new people to come in and when you need to have some stability. And they're finding definitely with a lot of the key administrative people, they needed people who could stay a couple years to transition new people coming in and provide the continuity that the government and the local health workers needed.
What was your particular role with the project?
Well, my role was working on the new piece, and that is they were going in and training health professionals to do the hands-on protocol for tuberculosis. They needed the piece of training doctors and nurses how to educate the patients, particularly to continue with the medical treatment. Because with the World Health treatment, they basically are in the hospital for 2 months, and then they have to continue treatment for another 4 to 6 months out in the community. And if they don't, their tuberculosis can come back, and then they can, besides getting it again, they can get a multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, which is a big concern in that part of the world.
Okay. Now, is this, is it different from other volunteer organizations, Doctors Without Borders?
Well, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Again, it's, I I think the types of missions, probably because they are such acute situations, many of the people going in know that they're going into situations which could be slightly risky. So perhaps they may be going into situations that are a little bit less controlled than others. However, I would say in Uzbekistan, because they're there for so long, people were not going into such risky situations, other than you're looking at the doctors and nurses who are working in very highly contagious tuberculosis areas.
Now, how about the government in Uzbekistan? How helpful were they with Doctors Without Borders?
They were becoming more receptive to the work there. Now, again, you've got two different issues. One is their willingness. They're definitely willing and appreciative of Doctors Without Borders being there. But the fact is, Doctors Without Borders is going to leave. And one of their goals is to get the government to buy into actually putting funds into tuberculosis treatment and management. So they're moving along there, but it's not a dictatorial government where the government can just say to the workers, you will do this. So it's not ideal, but it's definitely getting better with the education that's occurring there.
Okay. Do you plan on going back?
I would like to go back. We don't have plans to go back at this point. It's a very major undertaking to get to that part of the world. And with a family, which we took most of our family with us, that is a lot of planning and involvement. And yet I definitely would go back. The people were wonderful. The type of work that you can do there is very rewarding. And so it's something that if we had the opportunity, I would definitely do again.
Well, it sounds like a great program. Thank you for coming on and telling us about it today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jill. Coming up, we'll take a look at the latest Tim Allen movie whose release date was delayed because of the September 11th attacks. Also, we'll meet a woman who is combining some new technology with an age-old hobby. Stay tuned.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
September 11 changed America in almost every facet of life, even Hollywood. After September 11th, several movies were pulled from their original release date. Big Trouble was one of those films. The film stars an ensemble cast headed up by Tim Allen and Rene Russo. It was delayed because there is a part of the movie in which some of the characters sneak a missile on the plane. There are many subplots in the story, but they all revolve in some way or another around a mysterious suitcase. With the story's many twists and turns, it might be easy to get lost in the plot, but not to Tim Allen, who can sum up the plot easily.
It's a simple story about couples. Really, that's what it's about. It's about different couples getting together. My son and a girlfriend, me and a new love interest. criminals getting together. It's about couples in one way or another.
Big Trouble is directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who directed other notable films such as The Addams Family and Men in Black. He is also the director for Men in Black 2, due out later in the year. Big Trouble is rated PG-13 and will be released April 5th. Now, time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Quilting is a centuries-old art of piecing together a blanket. This is a popular hobby for some, and the professionals even mix in a little bit of science. Today, we spend a day in the life of a quilter.
Quilting is often thought of as your grandmother's hobby. However, how many grandmothers can say they quilt with the help of a laser? It takes about a month for the average quilter to finish a quilt. Tess Weeks-Murphy can complete a quilt in as little as 1 day. She has some help from her favorite piece of equipment. Tess's quilting machine is able to stitch up to 3,500 stitches per minute. Tess has been quilting for more than 20 years. Her mother and grandmother were both involved with sewing, so she learned the art at an early age.
I started sewing when I was a child with my mom's scraps, and I did a lot of craft sewing, a lot of original doll designs and things like that.
Technology has improved considerably since her days of childhood sewing. Now, Tess can use her machine to quilt with ease. By following a pattern with the laser on her quilting machine, she is able to create precise, intricate designs.
Unlike what most people think, the machine is all hand-controlled. It's not computerized. You don't just program it. You can buy the computerized ones, but they cost what a nice house with a full-time maid costs.
A big part of Tess's job is finishing quilts that others have pieced together. People from as far away as Indiana and Ohio send their quilts to Tess for finishing. She also offers her expertise in classes. One quilter recently took a class from Tess.
Taught me new techniques that I hadn't learned before. Found it to be a real rewarding experience.
Obviously, quilting is a major part of Tess's life.
I have to stitch. I tell everybody that my life is in pieces, and so I keep trying to stitch it together.
By using different, sometimes difficult designs, Tess enjoys creating one-of-a-kind heirlooms. With photographer John Meyer, I'm Mandy Oss, reporting for Studio One.
Tess says her favorite quilt is one she made called Stars and Stripes Forever. It was a red and blue quilt for a police auction. However, she says every quilt she finishes becomes her new favorite. Farming is an industry that has changed a lot over the years. We'll show you how the latest high-tech gadgets help growers produce better crops. Plus, we'll take a look at a recent gathering of more than 400 people. They got together to share good food and great music in a celebration of cultural diversity. That story, plus news, sports, and the updated weather forecast in the next half hour on Studio One.
Students from any major can build a great future through the entrepreneurship programs at the College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota.
It lets them meet with business people and spread their wings and do the research to see if their ideas really do work.
Well, this program is for everybody. Business coincides and integrates with any major out there.
Trust yourself, take action, discover the entrepreneurship programs at the UND College of Business and Public Administration.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One. Thanks for staying with us.
Yes, we've got a lot packed into 30 minutes for you coming up. You know, March is a time when a lot of college sports are wrapping up. Other ones are starting. We've got basketball getting into playoffs.
Yeah, hockey's just finishing up.
Yeah, that's right, by the end of the month. And later on in the show, we have a sports story that talks about how actually some schools have problems graduating their college athletes. A lot of them drop out before or just don't finish. Also coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, growers are constantly looking for ways to boost their crop production. We'll show you how new technologies are helping them reach that goal.
Plus, we'll meet a pair of brothers who have been entertaining crowds with their Latin American style music for more than 15 years.
Also, we'll meet a woman whose inspirational story won her a contest. The prize allowed her to be part of the 2002 Winter Olympics. But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. Attorneys are trying to convince a Texas jury that Andrea Yates was insane when she drowned her 5 children. Andrea's husband, Russell Yates, testified on Wednesday that her mental problems became apparent after their 4th child was born. He says he never knew the extent of his wife's illness because doctors never told him that she had been diagnosed as psychotic. Andrea Yates is charged with 2 counts of capital murder and has confessed to drowning her children, but has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. In Los Angeles, jurors are hearing testimony in another high-profile case. A neighbor who witnessed the dog attack on Diane Whipple described to jurors the gruesome scene. She says she heard the dogs barking loudly, followed by Whipple's cries for help. As she dialed 911, she heard Noller, who owned the dogs, shouting at the animals to get down. When police arrived, it took a pistol and a machine gun to stop the dogs. Noller and her husband, Robert Noel, have pleaded innocent to charges related to Whipple's death. Kids in need of vaccinations might need to wait a while before they can get their shots. Health officials are having problems getting important children's vaccines. This includes the chickenpox and pneumonia shots, along with the measles, mumps, and rubella. The main reason for the delay in receiving the MMR shots is that manufacturers had to change some of their production processes. One public health official says parents do not seem too concerned with the delays, but others are worried.
I haven't heard anything from parents so far, more so from public health officials who are afraid that because they have to defer all these vaccines for children that the parents may not bring them back in.
If a child has received their primary vaccines, they will not be harmed in waiting a while. However, they should still come back and receive all of their shots for complete protection. North Dakota is not seen as much of a problem as some states. Health officials in New Jersey have been forced to dip into emergency stockpiles because of extreme shortages. People who sleep less at night could be adding years onto their lives. A 6-year study by the University of California in San Diego studied the effect sleep has on a person's lifespan. The research says that people who sleep 5 to 7 hours per night live longer than those who sleep 8 hours or more. Sleep experts say the study does have some flaws. It relied on patients' recollections of their sleep habits and not on the quality of their sleep. They do not advise anyone to change their sleep habits based on this study. Farming as a way of life has been changing throughout history, but now with new technological advances, the methods growers use to raise their crops are evolving from year to year.
Precision farming tools such as global positioning satellites and remote sensing are changing the future of farming. The University of North Dakota recently held a conference in order to inform farmers and ranchers about the new technologies available to them. On display were a number of agricultural technologies companies in the region are using for rural development. American Crystal Sugar is one of many corporations using a global positioning system to track their crops.
We're looking at trying to predict the size of our crop based on the satellite imagery.
Some experts say that these new technologies can benefit everyone involved, but it's the farmers who need to decide what works best for them.
But the bottom line, of course, for the producers is, what income difference might I have? And I think that in some instances that's very positive. In other instances it's not. I think the jury's still out.
But it isn't in the labs where the real results become known. The true test of agricultural technologies are seen when put to use here on a farm.
At the Wagner Brothers farm near Crookston, Minnesota, Gary Wagner says these advances have helped their farm run more efficiently. He says they've also broadened their knowledge of what these technologies can do for the future of farming, such as providing better ways to input data.
Before we used to have big backpacks and a laptop computer. Now I can have all the same information on here, and I can store all the data in a memory card that this would store over 1 gigabyte, up to 1 gigabyte of information.
Wagner says there may be problems with any new technology, but it pays off in the long run to use advancements that can make them more efficient. This is Christine Roarg reporting for Studio One News.
Satellite imagery has a number of uses. One that has been getting a lot of attention is how it is being used for weed control. Growers have been able to save thousands of dollars by only spraying where chemicals are needed instead of the entire field. And that's news for today. Monty and Kelly.
Thanks, Leanna. Well, one thing is that farmers can use all the technology in the world, but they can't control the weather.
No, and even though I don't think Ryan can either, let's go back to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipon and see what the forecast looks like.
Monty and Kelly, wouldn't it be nice to control the weather sometimes? Well, those farmers certainly experiencing some Arctic air out there this week along with the rest of us. Will it last? We'll find out here shortly. First of all, currently in Grand Forks, our temperature has slipped now a degree to about 5 with a partly cloudy sky. North winds at 18, giving us a wind chill of 15 degrees below zero. We'll have to watch these temps as they'll drop quite quickly overnight tonight with the clear sky and a light wind. Jet stream analysis out there keeps the warmest air confined to the south and west currently, and the cold Arctic air up to the northern tier of states around the Great Lakes. As we put this map into motion, this is valid for next week, Tuesday, the 5th of March. Coldest air is locked well to the north as the jet stream becomes more zonal across the area, and what this means for us in terms of temperatures is a moderating trend starting next week, Tuesday, through the middle of next week. We'll have those figures for you in just a moment here in our extended forecast. First, with spring approaching and severe thunderstorm season around the corner, it's always good to stay ahead of the storm. Reporter John Randall takes a look at how the National Weather Service issues warnings to the public.
Whether it is severe thunderstorms in the summer or blizzards in the winter, severe weather warnings play a crucial role in preparing people for dangerous weather situations. The National Weather Service is responsible for issuing these warnings. Forecaster Dave Kellenben says there are times that the atmosphere inside the National Weather Service can be almost as intense as the weather outside.
Especially during severe weather season, when we are in warning mode, putting out warnings, can get pretty active in here. We like to call it almost organized chaos.
The technology that the National Weather Service uses is very helpful when these severe storms are raging across the nation. With a few simple clicks of a mouse, warnings can be issued for multiple counties for a wide range of severe weather events. Severe weather can occur anywhere and at any time. It is comforting to know someone is making sure Mother Nature doesn't catch us by surprise. For Studio One, I'm John Randall.
Thanks, John. That's some useful information for all of us to keep in mind. Our extended forecast here, windy Friday into Saturday, as we said, with the moderating temperatures, and by Sunday into Monday, expect temperatures ranging in highs to around 20 degrees. So Monty and Kelly, bundle up if you're heading out the first half of the weekend, certainly with the Arctic chill in place, and gusty winds will have wind chills well below zero.
Well, thanks a lot, Ryan. So not a real good weekend forecast coming our way, but
it's starting to get a little warmer though later,
yeah.
He said, so that's good. Well, let's go now to sports news with James DeGilder.
Thanks, Kelly and Monty. Less than half of all college athletes nationwide receive a diploma. However, one Midwest university is doing its best to reverse this trend and make students successful both in sports and in the classroom.
Josh Cranston is on a national champion football team.
Jason Cook is a member of his university track and field team. They are both examples of a typical student athlete. Their days consist of studying and sports. However, many athletes across the country are not having as much success as they are in the classroom. The national average graduation rate for student athletes is 49%. Cook and Cranston attend the University of North Dakota, where the graduation rate is 77%. UND Athletic Director Roger Thomas says that the combination of study programs, grade checks, and optional tutors is a recipe for success.
I think what it is has been we've had a commitment and kind of a tradition of doing it. That's 8 semesters in a row of over a 3.0. And I think it gets to be kind of contagious. I think an athlete knows they can go to class, they can get good grades, there are awards to be won.
UND teams like the women's cross-country team help boost the average, with 1 in 4 athletes receiving a 4.0. Cook says that coach involvement is key in his academics.
Like at certain times, and if you were like, oh, I don't want to study, they're still like, you have to, and it made you study almost more than you'd want to, and you end up doing better than you would have.
Thomas says that he cannot tell for sure why the graduation rates for other schools in the country are so low. He says many provide much of the same academic help that UND does. He says that teams sometimes compete with each other to see which one can earn the highest grades, and that can help boost GPAs. Students say another factor is that the coaches understand the importance of academics.
The coaches always let us go to class and get other stuff done instead of practicing, so it makes it a lot easier for us to get stuff done on time.
With the balance of success in sports and academics, UND athletic officials expect the graduation rates to stay high and hopefully serve as an example for other schools across the nation. This is Sarah Spencer reporting for Studio One Sports.
UND's fall semester of 2001 saw a total of 54 straight-A student athletes, with more than half earning a B average or better. It's now time for the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. This week's question is, which heavyweight boxer held the title for the longest period of time? The answer is Joe Louis, who held it for a whopping 11 years and 9 months. And that's the sports for today. Kelly and Monty?
Thank you, James. Coming up, we'll talk with someone whose bravery and perseverance inspired a friend to nominate her for a special contest. She won the prize, and she'll share the story of her incredible experience.
Also, we'll take you to an annual celebration that serves up delicious ethnic food with a side of some great live folk music. That story is next on Studio One.
Address your workforce training needs through the Workforce Training Partnership between Lake Region State College and the University of North Dakota. Both institutions have joined together to provide training in computer applications, management and supervision, the trades, and much more. The partnership also provides customized training programs to fit the specific needs of your business or industry. For more information, contact the Workforce Training Partnership Office at Lake Region State College or the University of North Dakota.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
In his recent State of the Union address, President Bush singled out certain countries that he deemed axis of evil. Now, some nations are criticizing the president's choice of words and his hard stance against these countries. We wanted your thoughts on the matter.
I think President Bush should take all steps necessary to crack down on terrorism.
I think it was just his way of showing the country that he really thinks that this is something that they need to focus on, that they need to stop right now before any worse acts happen.
President Bush probably should have been conversing with those other country leaders, at least kind of behind the scenes or something, but I don't think he really should have been saying stuff like that to the public and making those kind of statements. They come off as accusations.
I think it's a fairly good idea, because there's been known to be terrorists and, terrorist activity in that part of the world.
You're going to hurt a lot of innocent people more than, you are going to help.
Pumpernickel bread and Argentine prime rib roll-ups are probably not on the menu for you this evening. These foods and others were offered at a special feast. It gave countries from across the world a chance to join with one another.
The Feast of Nations is an event where people come from all over the world to share their cultures with others. The event attracted a crowd of more than 400 people.
We had vignettes represented from Croatia, Sri Lanka, Norway. I think a lot of the Norwegian culture of Grand Forks comes out for this event. But also, we had people from Cameroon, New Zealand, Scotland.
The Feast of Nations is put on by the students and staff at the University of North Dakota International Center. The annual feast is a way for the campus and community to celebrate different cultures through cuisine, presentations, and performances. The evening began with a dinner that included foods from all over the world, including India, Greece, and France. After the dinner, the students entertained the guests through music, dancing, and other cultural events. Likunantai was the main attraction for the evening. The name Likunantai means people of the highland. Vocalist and guitarist Christian Hidalgo says they are more than just band members.
We sort of grew up together, and I think music is one of the things that keeps us together. Besides being friends, we also play soccer together. Our kids play together, and so it's something like more of a family, very close-knit group of people.
All of the band members moved to Canada when they were children. This was because of the economic problems Chile was facing. Hidalgo says their music is more than entertainment.
It's part of our soul. It's just a way of communicating. It's a way of expressing our message of togetherness, a celebration. We play for fun.
The evening ended with full stomachs due to the taste of so many cultures. Next year, the pumpernickel rolls and prime rib roll-ups will be back at the Feast of Nations. With photographer John Meyer, I'm Robert Palm for Studio One.
The Chilean band Likunantai was the main entertainment at the Feast of Nations. The band is also popular for playing at the Folklorama Festival in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The Olympics have come to an end, but they have left many memories for everyone involved. Coming up next, we'll meet a woman who will share her special Olympic memories.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff?
Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Olympics provide a show of great bravery and athleticism from beginning to end. Joining us today is someone who participated in the prelude to the Olympics. Lisa Moss was nominated to carry the torch in this year's Winter Olympics. Thanks for joining us today, Lisa.
Thank you.
Well, you don't just go and sign up to carry the Olympic torch. How did you get chosen for this honor?
Actually, about a year ago now, my boyfriend had written an essay about me to the Olympic Committee, telling them kind of, I guess, what I had gone through and how he thought I was an inspiration. And I found out about June or July that I was selected for it.
So what makes you inspirational? What was your story?
In February last year, I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and it's a disease that is uncurable, and it affects the female anatomy, and sometimes it can cause cancer, and if untreated, it'll lead to infertility. So he thought that I was an inspiration because despite the fact that I had surgeries and was diagnosed with this, I didn't just give up, and I kept going, and I kept thinking positive about everything. So
yeah. So after he'd written this essay, did he tell you that he had, nominated you for the award?
He did, actually. He said that he had a surprise for me, and that he wrote this essay about me, and that he thought it would be really neat if I got to carry the Olympic torch. And I kind of laughed at him and said, that's really cute, but like I would ever be able to do something like that. I didn't think so, being from such a small town, and I didn't really feel like it was something really significant.
So how did you find out then that you had been awarded the honor?
They actually called me. I got home from work one day, and the phone was ringing, and I just answered it, and a lady told me her name and that she was from the Olympic Committee, and she told me that I had been chosen, and I kind of laughed at her, and I thought it was a big joke or something that my boyfriend was playing on me, but then she started telling me about it, and I was just really shocked.
So who was the first person you told when you found out?
I actually called my mom right away, and I was just so excited. I was like, Mom, I got chosen. And she really didn't know what to say either. She was just all excited too.
Yeah, were your friends and family just as excited as you were?
Oh yeah, everybody was just thrilled. Some people kind of made fun of me a little bit because it is kind of weird, I guess you could say, that I got chosen for it and got to do it. But all in all my friends and family were really excited for me to go and do it.
So where did you go? Where did you carry the torch at?
I carried it in Billings, Montana, within the city. Wasn't anything great. They had a lot of people carry it within the city in one day, so.
And did anybody go with you to Montana? Do you have a support group there?
I did. My parents came there. My brothers were unable to go. They had to work and everything, so they weren't able to go, but my family was there, and I had a bunch of my friends, and of course my boyfriend came too, so it was a lot of fun.
What were you nervous about? Were you nervous about anything going into it?
Yeah, I didn't want to fall. I think that's maybe like everybody's number one thing. They just don't want to trip or drop it or put the flame out or something, but I didn't. I successfully carried it that whole 0.2 of a mile. So.
Well, good. And did you get a chance to meet any other torch carriers while you were there?
I did. There was quite a few of us on a bus when they dropped us off at our starting points, and we kind of all just sat for a little bit and talked to one another and told each other our stories and why we were there. So we didn't really get to know each other on a real personal basis, but just kind of got to know why everybody else was there as well.
Yeah, so how was the actual run?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was just amazing to be there and to be knowing that you're doing something so important and that you're the only person in the world at that moment that is carrying the Olympic flame, and it's such an important part of the Olympics. It's just...
It looks kind of cold there in these pictures that we're looking at. Was it chilly?
It was freezing. I felt so bad for my friends and my family because it took me a really long time to get to where my starting point was. They had a whole bunch of security and everything, and so my friends and family, they were waiting outside for a really long time, and it was pretty cold outside. So.
And what was the torch like? Was it heavy or?
No, actually, it's not that heavy. It weighs about 4 to 5 pounds, so it's pretty light. I was worried that it was going to slip through my hands, but you know, they tell you your adrenaline's going and you're gripping onto that thing pretty good. So I didn't even notice. It went by really fast.
Well, what was the most memorable part of all of this for you?
You know, I can't actually say that there's one part that's the most memorable. Every single part about it just made it the best thing that could have ever happened to me in my life. I mean, if it wasn't for my boyfriend, I never would have been able to do such an amazing thing, and I owe everything to him, and just being able to do something so amazing, it was just really an honor.
Yeah, well, what a great experience. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll take you for a ride-along in a car with a university police officer. Plus, we'll give you the rundown on what's happening in entertainment and news.
Now, I know that there's a lot of differences between a normal city police officer or highway patrol officer and a university.
Yeah, there's a lot to deal with on a university,
It's a community in itself. Well, we're going to leave you now with some pictures to remind us that spring is right around the corner, and those are courtesy of photographer Casey Frederick. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.